success, unfortunately, in the entrepreneurship world, has been redefined as the one with the most money. All of your realities, your capabilities, your talents, your emotions, everything comes to play. You will then make better decisions. Change is our best friend, Matt. Change is the only friend that gives you options. There is a difference between satisfaction and success. Success is defined by others, satisfaction is defined by you. The glass is an opportunity to be filled or for the poison to be thrown out. Listen with your heart, listen without bias, listen to learn. We have infinite choices in front of us when we're 80 and where we're 80, equal number.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Quiet Work podcast. I was searching for a mental headline for today's conversation. And the best thing I could come up with is the art of entrepreneurship. My guest today, if you can take away one thing from Mr. Mohasseb, is his branding. When I was doing my research and the way he approached us as well, there was information galore, an abundance of information about him, his story, and everything, all the achievements that he has done and gave back to the communities all around the world. I'm very excited to learn from him, to absorb the knowledge and wisdom from this conversation. I'm sure you will too as a listener. So without any further ado, let me introduce you to Mr. Sid Mohasseb, an educator, entrepreneur, investor. Without any further ado, Mr. Mohasseb, please introduce yourself to the audience and we'll start with that.
Hello, Matt, and I'm humbled with your generous introduction. As you said, I've done or been in multiple seats. I have built a number of companies and sold them. I've a few books, kind of an author. I teach at the MBA school and engineering school, both at USC. So I guess, moved around, and you can call me an old guy who has maybe a few scars in the back or a few hundred scars in the back and some things that might be valuable for some of your audience to think about. Did you break in? Were you going to say something, man?
Yes, I wanted to start that it's very interesting that you are an entrepreneur at heart. I can tell. I guess you would. I assume you would agree with that. And where does the education by that I mean giving back and educating others come into play? Not everyone is deciding to educate as they reach success. They mostly focus on the one thing. It's either success or education. How do you find combining
So
those two?
so there is a lot of your statement is very loaded, okay? And it's and I'll unfold it, but it's a common belief what you just said that success means a certain thing. Is success for you to be a doctor? Is success to be a billionaire? Is Elon Musk successful and I don't know, Martin Luther King wasn't successful? Is who is successful? Success, unfortunately, in the entrepreneurship world has been redefined as the one with the most money. But the definition of entrepreneur is not what is being promoted on all of these places. An entrepreneur, and this is the actual definition from the 1700s, I'm not making it up. It's someone who has something, who wants to exchange it with something of higher value, knowing that there is risk.
Okay.
Okay? You have something, and there's no definition of what it is that you have. It doesn't say you have a product, it doesn't say you have a company, it doesn't say you could be a great baseball player, you could be a great singer, you could have your time, or you could have a service, or you could have a product. You want to exchange that with something of higher value. And nobody defines what higher value is.
Sure.
You could decide that it's money, and somebody else may decide that it's fame, and somebody may decide that it's curing poverty like Mother Teresa in India. You decide what is of higher value, knowing that there's some risk. There's less risk if I work somewhere and I exchange my time for some money, and then I take my kids to Disneyland, and that makes me happy. But there's more risk if I want to send the shuttle to the moon and I don't have the money, and it may take 2 decades, and my wife or husband may leave me, and I won't have any kids. There's more risk. I choose. You choose as an individual. So, and we're all different, and we all choose differently. So, this idea that exchanging for sharing your knowledge or educational or writing books, or it's still in the same, it's the same realm of exchanging what you have with something of higher value. For example, we've just started this Anabasis Academy. Ana means moving up, basis means the base. Okay, so moving the base up. And all we focused on is on provoking and engaging. That is, my belief is that if you are provoked in your own unique way and you discover that you are truly an entrepreneur, doesn't matter if you work somewhere, it doesn't matter what you're exchanging for what. As long as you are aware of this exchange, as long as you're aware of this exchange, that you are doing it every day in your life. You just mentioned before we got online that you have a 10-month-old baby.
Yes.
You exchange your party life, going out, having fun, doing things with having that baby. And you made that choice and you exchange your life in some form or shape. You thought this is a better deal of higher value than this other thing. So we all do that every day of our life, but we are unaware of it. And we look at it as these people are entrepreneurs and these people aren't. No, we are all entrepreneurs in the true sense of entrepreneurship. The question is, where do we apply our entrepreneurship talents? And you talked about the art of entrepreneurship. It begins in your mind and in awareness. See, to decide what you exchange for what you have, to assess the risk, you have to realize the choices, and that depends on knowing who you are, your environment, your talents, your capabilities, your friends, your employees, all of those, your emotions, what are you afraid of, what are you not afraid of, your courage, your commitment, all of that. Do you have a 10-month-old or you don't have a 10-month-old? Do you have a lot of money or you don't? Do you come from this family or that family? What? All of that, all of your realities, your capabilities, your talents, your emotions, everything comes to play. And if you're aware of that and your biases, you will then make better decisions. You will see more choices. You will make better decisions. And better decisions would lead to better outcomes. That's entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not
Now,
going to Las Vegas and throw in a dice. It's navigating risk, and that's how you navigate risk.
now I know why they call you or you're known as the entrepreneur philosopher. It was a very deep explanation, and I also like now I like the headline more than before, the art of entrepreneurship, because the way you described it, it's actually a person, and if I remember correctly, it comes from the 17th century, so it's been around for a few years. The definition of entrepreneurship, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's someone who is an entrepreneur, meaning a business owner, which is
Nope.
something that we associate with nowadays. And I love that definition. Well, it's the first time I hear it, so I'll definitely pass it on and spread the word about that type of that definition of entrepreneurship. Now, you've mentioned the academy, Anabasis Academy. Ana means up.
Hmm.
From what language, if you don't mind me asking? Which language?
Latin, Latin, Latin.
Latin.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, I have not heard Anna means up. All right, now I understand. So let's talk about the Anabasis Academy, since this is your newest project, if I
Yeah,
remember.
this is the newest project, and it's a very. I actually asked the Grok and ChatGPT and Gemini and all of those AI tools, and I said, what is the difference between the Anabasis Academy and all these leadership courses or online educational motivational things, master classes? And to be honest with you, at the beginning I thought the first one was hallucinating. You know how ChatGPT stuff is. Or maybe I was hallucinating. I don't know.
Never know now.
But the answers kind of consistently came back that Anabasis Academy is radically different, radically transformational. And why is it that way? Because we're not focusing on giving you, first of all, there is no certification. I don't give you, tests and quizzes.
Great.
Success is defined in who you are, not what I give you. As the fact that I give you, oh, you passed this course doesn't make you any better or worse. Okay. So the idea is to provoke people and
Mm,
engage people, to provoke you, because you are already an entrepreneur and you have all the faculties, all the capabilities. If you enhance your awareness, your mindfulness, if you're aware of all of those things we just talked about, then you and only you can motivate you. You and only you, because only you know who you are, what your capabilities are. Yeah, I may be a coach. I can talk to you about this and that, but I'm never you. I all of these practical stuff that say practical steps to greatness, practical steps to this. Yeah, you got to know accounting to be able to run a business. You got to know marketing to market and sell. Sure, Those are mechanical things that are, here's an example. If you know how to do plumbing in a house, you gotta have plumbing and restrooms in the house. But to live in the house,
You don't need to know that.
you don't need to know that. Or you can hire somebody to do that. To live in the house, you have to have a different mindset of growth and prosperity and challenges. You have to have a ability to raise a 10-month-old and stay late at night. Eh? It's not just the mechanical things and everybody is pushing. Or if I tell you, hey, you are the wonderful, the most great thing, and maybe I'm somebody who went to a war or who climbed Everest, who ran, but you're not me. You didn't do any of that stuff. I made $1 trillion. Okay, so what? So you're not me. So this practical advice is what the academy is against. It's the only practical advice for you comes from you.
Hmm.
My practical advice is increase your awareness. Listen more. Be
Like also,
aware more. Look at different things. So here's what we do. We have something we call a wake up call. It's every other week and it's free. People can come in and join. And sometimes we have hundreds of people and sometimes we have, tens of people and sometimes we have more. And we have people from all over the universe, everywhere. And I pick a single topic on each conversation each, and we talk about it for 15 minutes, very fast, very to the point, right? We take topics like resilience. What is this resilience? Risk, commitment, hope, delusions. These things that are in our mind. This is how we make the soup by connecting all these pieces. And then we open it up to a discussion and conversation or questions, and we have that. And then we bring in somebody we put on a hot seat. There's a section called hot seat where we bring in a entrepreneur and we don't care about, I mean, we do care about what they do. We talk for 3, 4 minutes, but we care more about what their mindset is
hmm,
and the challenges. And usually we connect the one thing we talked about. For example, last week we talked about unlearning as opposed
unlearning.
to unlearning, which is
Okay.
not the opposite of learning,
Hmm.
which is not the opposite of learning. It
Almost
is a
like a
complete
habits. Maybe unlearning a habit comes to mind. Like be wise.
unlearning. So here, Einstein unlearned the fact that the Newtonian way of looking at life is right, and he learned something new, relativity, right? Unlearning is like you have maps that you follow on the street, or you have your GPS that you want to go from point A to point B, but there are new streets on there, and unless you update this thing that you have, you'll never get there. You'll be lost, right? Unlearning is so what I was saying is last time we talked about unlearning, we connected that directly to a conversation that I had with an entrepreneur, and we looked at it from their mindset and their changing and their challenges. I was talking to an entrepreneur I had who was on the hot seat a few weeks ago, like about a month ago, and I had given her she lives in and
Hmm.
I'd given her some advice in our conversation, and she called me back and she said after our call I went back to my partner and I said we had never seen it this way. And we changed the way we looked at things. And guess what? It is working. It doesn't take a lot to step back and see things differently. It takes a determination, an awareness, right? An awareness. So the academy is about this provoking and engaging. We have these free things that people come in and do that. And then there is a different section that we have is conversational collections. Conversational collections are 5 or 7 minute videos. Each one of them is 10 or 8 is one collection. There's my books they can see, and then we have something called an expert circle. Where every other week I have a conversation with someone I feel has the right mindfulness or approach to entrepreneurship and life.
Hmm.
I've had people like Marty Cooper, the inventor of cell phone, literally the inventor of cell phone. And we don't talk about, oh, Marty, tell me about your accomplishments and for 45 minutes talking about the things. We talk about real things. Okay, tell me about resilience. Tell me about that. Tell me about, those kind of things is what we generally talk about. Right? Very narrow topics, mindful topics. And the idea is if I can change your point of reference, if I change the way you look at things, not one way, but 1,000 different ways, you would learn more. And then you can make better decisions. You are a better entrepreneur. You're a better husband. You're a better father. You have a better life. Doesn't matter. Entrepreneurship applies to our day-to-day life. math. It's not just about money.
100%. Yes, and you said it so well. It's already inspiring so far. The academy, you've mentioned a lady from Germany. I'm not sure if she was also a business owner, and you've
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah, yeah. She got onto what we call the hot seat, which is a
nice.
specific section. It takes about 30 minutes, and we bring in an entrepreneur, and basically we say, okay, tell me how you got here, tell me about your business, and then it's a rapid fire question and answer, mostly on the mindset and how they see it.
I like that. We have a hot seat person in our public speaking club here locally in Palm Desert. It's
Uh,
Toastmasters. I'm sure you've heard about Toastmasters. They've been
yes,
100 years, and the hot seat person needs to be prepared for any role for the meeting. So you've
yeah,
prepared speeches, we have impromptu speeches, we have evaluations, we have someone that is the host of the meeting, each meeting, and we essentially have that particular role of most experienced members. They can only fulfill that role, obviously, and they have to be ready for everything. Sometimes you don't have to do anything because everyone is there and you're okay, but sometimes you have to be ready for a speech, ad hoc speech, or you have to have something prepared. So I like that analogy that you have
yeah.
incorporated into.
And it comes with the hot seat is not just a hot seat, and then there is a rapid fire. Rapid fire is, it's the questions are coming. You don't have a half an hour to think about it or whatever. Okay, give me the answer now. Give me, here's the next question. Here's the next question. So it comes from the heart, as
Mm,
opposed to canned speeches and canned,
I like
presentations.
that. Turns on a different part of the brain. So we have that impromptu speeches as well, where someone is asking a question
Yeah,
and you don't know if you're going to be picked on or someone else, and you have to come up with. We have 5 seconds to come up with an answer and talk about
yeah.
it for 1 to 2 minutes. So that's it. Always, despite the fact that I've been part of it for many years, I still have that feeling of, oh my god, what am I supposed to say here? Sometimes I don't understand. English is my third language. There's still some barriers here and there, but I like the concept behind it, and I look forward to visiting one of those wake up
Yeah,
calls.
I mean, folks can go, your audience can go to anabasisacademy.org. That's, you could maybe put it in your notes or
I
whatever, but
will
it's,
absolutely, yes.
yeah, but it's ANABASIS, Anabasis Academy.org. It's .org, and there's a thing on the top and says sign up for a wake up call, and they'll get directions and invitations, and they can come up and join us, and it's free, and
Yes,
see if they can engage. Again, our job at the academy is to provoke and engage.
provoke and engaged.
Yep.
So provoke and engage in order to find out more about yourself,
Your next best version.
your next best version. Does it tap into
Not the final version.
which exactly? That's what I wanted to say. Evolve and evolve again. Is that
That's
the
right.
that happens next?
That's the concept. Yeah.
Evolve and
That's
evolve
the
again. So we have to rediscover ourselves as, and it's a never ending. Well, it ends at one point, but
yeah.
throughout.
But when it ends, it ends. Then. But here's the thing. This is, and I had a TED talk about this. The art, the artist, or the entrepreneur. Are
Are
you
you
the
the art?
art? The
Yes.
artist or the entrepreneur. And the argument I made on that TED Talk is that we are all both the art and the artist. We're all the entrepreneur. Okay. I don't care if you argue about it and say, oh, entrepreneurship is about money. Well, you can define it about money. That's your choice. But
Yes.
it's not. It's like saying because my home has two people in it and I live with my daughter, then every home should have two people and a daughter in it. Or two bedrooms and a single bedroom. That's not right. So you are an entrepreneur. We all are, depending on how we tap into that talent, that ability, that capability, however you define it, and how we define what we have and what we've got, then we behave differently, right? So if we believe that we are the entrepreneur, then it leaves us to the second and third part of it. Is are you the art or the artist? Is this, am I the artist building this life and this business or this situations, or am I the art itself? Well, I believe we're both. I
Mm.
believe that we can, if we're building the art, we can change a little bit to the left and to the right, and the statue may be a little bit crooked here, and that's okay. We'll fix it. And if I like it green, I'll paint it green. And if I don't like it green, then I'll paint it red. And maybe I like a combination of the both, and that's fine too. So there is no end to this thing. And whenever, whatever I make is my masterpiece at that point. And if I make another one, then I'll make another one. If I choose not to, then I choose not to. But our businesses are the same way. Our life is the same way, where we are we're an entrepreneur. We are truly an artist. Steve Jobs was an artist.
And I like that word. I'm a big fan of words, and the word art or an artist and mastering something, being a master at something. Those are two really strong words for sure. And I believe that they will directly impact how you approach the artistry you're pursuing. And I'm reading that book, Made to Stick, currently, about
Mhm.
storytelling, how to tell stories or write stories that stick with people, other and some don't stick at all. And they mentioned an example, I believe it was Disney company, how they call their employees at the parks, each individual's parks, and it makes everyone show up differently. So for example, you have an ice cream. If you are an ice cream artist, if you show up to the ice cream shop and you have an artist, that person, I can immediately associate some of the experiences that I had. Sometimes you walk in and that person can talk about the flavors, the way they make it, the natural ingredients, how they prepare it, and the way they move through the store. And then sometimes you show up and there's this person, they're sad. They don't welcome you. They just put the ice cream and hand it to you. They, that's essentially their job. They will look at the watch. They just want to get out of there. So that's the concept here. That's why I hope that the explanation here is clear. That the word, choosing the right words about what you do and what you pursue in life is so important. And the artistry, the art
Yeah,
being
so I am a believer. I'm aligned with you. I'm a believer that words matter. So let me give you one. Just and this may seem like again I'm going against the grain, but hey, I'm my own artist, I suppose. I don't know.
exact.
We have this thing that people say, pursue your dreams, right? Pursue your dreams. Can you tell me what is a dream?
Can tell you what I dreamt last night.
Yeah, you have something that is in a vacuum, often unachievable, impractical.
Yes.
So we are saying pursue your dreams, meaning pursue something that's unachievable. That's a silly thing to say. Dreams we sleep and we dream, but
Yes.
we create. Pursue what is achievable.
Mm,
Pursue what's tangible. Pursue what's possible. The nature of the words, this is why you said the words matter. The nature of how we use words and say, Matt, pursue your dreams, or you tell your son or daughter, pursue your dreams. You're telling them to pursue something that's unachievable. You're
yes.
setting them up for failure before or giving them a way out because it's a dream after all. It's unachievable.
So what do you
And
recommend?
guess what? If your dream was to be a billionaire, then you look at Elon Musk and you want to be a trillionaire. You just changed what that is, and so there is no way you could ever achieve a dream. You can you could achieve possibilities if you are aware of what are the possibilities. Yes, I am all for goals, but I'm also for changing goals.
Yes. It's they always
Okay.
adopt and change.
Yeah. So here's the deal. My dream is to be a basketball player. I'm 5'3", overweight, aged. I will never be able to become an NBA player. So that's a foolish dream. It's an unattainable dream. Now, if I do that, then I say, but you see, like I think there was one of those books that I forgot the name of the book and the name of the author for that matter. But it talks about if you master any task, if you play 10,000 hours or do it for 10,000 hours.
Maybe
And it was a huh?
Robert Greene, mastery.
No, 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 no. It's a very famous guy. He was a writer for New York, New Yorker or New York Times or whatever, and he became very famous. But the point is that if you work hard enough at something, you will master that something, and then it would be great. It doesn't matter for me how much I work. It just doesn't, and it doesn't matter what passions I have. It doesn't matter. So having foolishness incorporated in our behavior would result in suboptimal outcome, right? We confuse this thing about, oh, we can achieve. I'm not against having goals. I'm not against having, like, people have these vision boards. This is another thing. You familiar with the idea of the vision board they put up on here? Okay, a 20-year-old puts this vision board together, and there's always a Ferrari in the corner and a this in the corner and two kids and a white. If you look at everybody, it's pretty much the same. It's, well, somebody's a musician, he sees himself with a guitar on top of a thing, and somebody, mostly there's a car in there somewhere,
Usually.
usually. So depending on who you are, what you do, there's a bunch of stuff there imagined by a 20-year-old. Do you think that at 30, that is what you should achieve? With the knowledge of a 20-year-old of how he could imagine the world? No, that would be foolish. Your visions change, your dreams change, your needs change, your future changes, the situations change, your capabilities, your abilities, your realities, the world is changing. Okay, with AI now, everything is looking very different. So it's not the words matter,
The
how
words.
you define it, how you define.
There's a saying in Poland. I'll try to not translate it verbatim, but your perspective and point of view changes depending on where you sit. So, as you've mentioned, 20-year-old has a different seat and perspective from that particular seat because of their position than a 30-year-old. And obviously, I could be a testament to that. And now with a 10-month-old, they're completely flipped upside down, and
It
there's complete.
completely flipped. I guarantee you, your risk profile changed, your commitment profile changed, your demeanor changed. There's a lot of stuff that changed, right? There's a lot of stuff that changed. But these are things that we see. There's changes every day in our lives, every day. But we're unaware of it. And if you don't see change, you don't see the options. I mean, that was part of the other thing that I did on that TED Talk is if there is no change, there's change is our best friend. Matt, change is the only friend that gives you options. If there is no change, you see that 10-month-old baby you have will forever remain 10-month-old. And you and I will be talking on this talk forever. You will never, nobody, and all these people who are listening would be, if there is no change, would be listening to the same damn story that Sid is talking about, that this, stupid arguments he makes and whatever. It's just same thing, same thing forever. Your kid will never grow up, will never marry, you will never have another kid, you will never have any grandchild. You'll have McDonald's forever, you will have McDonald's. Matt, change is your best friend.
Change is
It
your best.
gives best friend. But we're afraid of it. We're taught to manage it, control it.
I like that. Change is your best friend, and that
So
works. I mean, I can tell every 4 weeks there's a complete change in an infant or toddler, right? They adopt to new, learn, they grow, they adapt to new circumstances and new environments, and they are extremely curious about every single thing. And
guess what? Guess what, Matt? You use the word they are. I
we
want to
are.
change that. You are. You still have the same ability and shit and maybe much more refined. We,
Yeah.
every one of us, have the same ability to learn, to change, to evolve, to be better, to improve, but we forget it. We think that, okay, because we're now 20, this is the end of learning and the end of, and learning is not just skills. Learning is how to use the skills skillfully. And that again, going back to the academy is one of the things that you can get skills, but the art of entrepreneurship in life is to be skillful, to put the pieces together. It's
Mm.
not just the plumbing. It's how to build the house, how to live in that house, how to enjoy every shower. That is the art. That is the skillfulness that makes a difference between all these people who we call are, I call them remarkable. People who are remarkable. People who are remarkable don't necessarily measure up to the success measures that you may define. Is a doctor remarkable? Of course, he could be remarkable. Or we could have an idiot as a doctor who doesn't explore anything. Yeah, he's a very good mechanic of this and that, has no passion for life or human life, or is messing up his children and his life. And is that person remarkable? I don't think so. Being remarkable is about being aware, applying those awareness, and using your skills skillfully
And being curious, just like the child, because
and
we
being
all.
curious.
I think it was
Because you have all the ability. You are choosing not to be curious. You
exact.
are choosing not to be curious.
Maybe even more, we allow others to dictate what we should or what we are curious about. I'm talking about the media that influence our behavior and our thoughts and our habits, even with what they have, what agenda they might have for us. And that applies to social media and public, typical media. I think it was Tolstoy or Nietzsche who said that if we kept childlike curiosity throughout our life, we didn't have to write wouldn't have to write books, because everyone would continue to evolve and grow on their own, because they would explore, experience, and continue to keep that curiosity and reach their mastery or artist
See,
brilliance.
you mentioned the media and what's out there. I want to talk about two things. One is there is a difference between satisfaction and success. Success is defined by others, satisfaction is defined by you. I may be poor, but I have a great life and I'm satisfied. I may be rich and I may be dissatisfied. I may be a lawyer and dissatisfied. I may be a clerk and be satisfied. The position of satisfaction versus success and how you look at it makes a huge difference in terms of your decision making. Differentiating satisfaction versus success. Success is defined by others, satisfaction is defined by you, right? Now, what what you see in the social media and part of the academy's mission, and you can read, and I'm not making it up, it's not because you're saying it, it's on the site, people can go see it, what our big mission is and what our is this notion that we are bombarded with these how-to nonsense. We are being told to do this and this and this and this and this, and guess what, we are facing a future that this and this and this and this, these tasks can be done by AI in a lot easier way. It is time for us to evolve and be creative and innovate, not because we follow these three things. Everybody now wants to be an influencer. So who builds things that you can influence and sell? So imagine a world, imagine this. Now we've got autonomous cars coming, cars that are driving themselves. So imagine 10, 15 years from now. I'm probably gone, but you're alive, you'll see it. What would happen? Everybody is sitting in their car in the back seat and promoting a handbag on Instagram. Is that life? Is that what we're built to do?
Hopefully not.
So here's the thing: the time to realize that we're an entrepreneur, the time to realize that we can create better is now. We can be better, but not because they give us a prescription, because we have the ability to write the prescription. But we have to choose. But we have to choose to do that. And again, I think I'm what you would call a capitalist. I've built multiple companies, sold multiple companies, done well financially. So I have nothing about capitalism. But what we have now is not capitalism. We have a few that make a lot of money, and we have a lot that follow certain rules and contribute to that. They may do well, but the entrepreneurship, this ability, I think, is at the core of what true capitalism could be, which is I take risks, I get the returns. It's ownership, it's satisfaction, not complying to somebody else's definition of success. Capitalism is about owning your future. We're now selling our future to somebody who gives us these 17 things to follow. Not my decision, it's their decision. That, I think, must be something that each one of us should think about. That's what I want to provoke people to do. That's
And
what we're
it's
doing at the Academy.
interesting that you say that, because from my personal experience is because I believe that this is the way to go. You have to find someone, they call them mentors, or someone, a coach, mentor, who will give you step by step how to guide on what to do and how, in what order, what sequence. And the more I delved into that, the more lost I felt. Could not, even though there's a step by step, and I should just turn on my monkey brain and just monkey see, monkey do. And I could never do that. And it was driving me into completely wrong direction. And I just ended up nowhere, being not knowing who I am, what I want to do, and most importantly, what to do next. So I agree with you from my experience.
Now,
That's what
I advise many, I sit on many boards and I advise many CEOs and their boards and so forth. So I'm not against advising or coaching. What I'm saying is the coach is not you. If I take away as a coach your decision making process and give you 7 things to do, as a coach, my job is to explore the dimensionality of what your situation is and provide you with doors, just like there are more choices here. Let's look at the other choices. I'm not going to choose for you. I'm not going to give you a place to, yeah, you can go to a marketing person. I can tell you, oh, if you want to get X number of clicks on this, you could do this. That's the plumber that I was talking,
Yes.
right? Yeah, there could be somebody who's an excellent, auditor of your financials. That's wonderful. Someone, someone who's an engineer. It's perfect. Let them design the bridge. You don't have to design the bridge, but you have to go over it, right? So the key is that yes, coaching is good. It's good to have someone to bounce ideas off of. And the more you trust that coach, and the more that coach is objective and not trying to shove some stuff into you, because they have a program that ends on January 31st, and you have to pay $72 or $7,200 or $72,000, and hey, everybody goes to a event in Tony Robbins things on Monday, the whatever, and there's 10,000 people in the room. No, if it doesn't fit in that thing, right?
Yeah.
So here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. There is a concept that comes from India. The word guru is an
Mm.
Indian. There's a concept called up guru. Up guru. That is the guru near you.
Hmm. Okay.
I say it's the guru of now. Everybody has something to teach you, my friend. Everybody has something to teach you. The question is, are you ready to learn?
Yes,
Okay.
that was my thought here.
Everybody is ready to be your guru. This is again the art of the awareness that I'm talking about. Mindfulness is not, oh, I'm gonna go into a Zen mode and okay, I looked at my biases and okay, then I come out from my yoga exercise or Zenness or meditation exercise and 5 minutes later, boom, reality hits me in the face. My employee quits. My product doesn't work. My car gets into an accident. Life changes. It doesn't matter how I did it. So this activating mindfulness is that I am aware of all these all the time, not one time. And if I'm aware all the time, anybody that I come into contact with has something to teach me. Why? Because if I know more, I improve my decision making. This is a very selfish thing to do. Listening, all of these people say, oh, you have to be empathetic to people. So listen to them. No, I don't listen to people to be empathetic. That's their problem. No, as a consequence, I am empathetic. As a consequence. But my objective is not just to listen to you so you feel good. My objective is to listen to you because you have something to say that I can learn. And if I learn, then my decisions are better. You see, there's a different way of looking at this.
Mm.
I'm not listening to make you feel good. I'm listening to make my decisions better.
My late dad used to repeat that sentence all the time, that you can learn something from anyone in the world. You can learn something from a professor. You can also learn something from a homeless person. So be respectful of each of them, each individual, and all individuals that you encounter. And I have to correct myself. Yes, I'm definitely not saying what I said earlier, that I'm against coaching and mentorship, because we all know that's very much needed. And we have athletes that have a bunch of coaches, and it's always good to have someone who is focusing on one area that can teach you their ways about something. What I said is exactly what you said later on as well, that you've mentioned that there's no templatized way to teach. And if you don't discover your own way of doing things, then a coach or mentor will not do you any good. Because if it's like a template, like a schedule of things that you have to follow and everyone else has to follow, you're essentially not going to take any way
So,
forward.
Matt, look at this. And you see, uh, on social media, TikToks and Instagrams and Facebooks, you see this. There's advertising on it, and people are selling it. They'll say, "You want to be a coach? Give us what you want to coach on, and we will create the entire program for you in 90 seconds." What nonsense, right? So here, you want to be a coach and then you open up a shop and then you charge people and they've created the entire curriculum for you and you read this off of ChatGPT and you're going to be a millionaire. Now, if somebody decides to go, people don't know that this thing was made by this and this is half of it is nonsense. Half of it, more than half, is nonsense. No, let's take you're from Europe, so you must like soccer.
Very accurate.
So So you think a Messi or a Ronaldo doesn't have a coach? Of course they do.
They do. Yes, that's what I meant by athletes. They do have a lot of
They
coaches.
have it. They have a coach. Then at any given moment, there are 100,000 people in the stadium when they're playing. 80,000, 50,000, 100,000, and they're screaming, "Go right, go left, pass it, shoot it." All of those people are noise.
Yes.
So a Messi can
Yes.
distinguish between noise and what the coach says. But
Mm,
then at the end, he will shoot when he decides. He doesn't look at the coach and say, "Should I shoot?"
true. That's a great analogy
He
here.
does it. He does it at that split second when he sees that opening, bringing in all that he knows. The noise is eliminated. The coaching has come together, and in this, he sees that thing and he shoots. And he could make a mistake, and that's okay. But it's not the coach who's shooting. The coach didn't say at 18 meters or 64 feet or 23 angles within the right angle of this, when there are three people in front of you, pass to the left or pass to the right. That's what people are doing with these coaching nonsense businesses. When there is this and this and this, then you do this and this and this. Life doesn't work that way. Life is not like IKEA that you get some instructions to put A and B together and screw them and boom, voila, you have a bookcase.
That's a fantastic analogy right there. I'll steal it.
Do it.
It makes so much sense, yes. And you have so much noise around you. Messi or you have to pick what's the noise, what's actually something that you it's valuable. But at the moment when you're in front of that goal, you need to make the decision yourself. You need to shoot, pass. You need to know what exactly needs to happen at that particular moment. You can't be looking at the coach because you're gonna fall. You can't be listening to the crowd because there's many people, that many opinions out there, and yeah, that's so powerful right there. Something to ponder on. I would be curious to hear, Mr. Seed, that after all the experiences that you've collected over the years in your form of entrepreneurship, in many forms actually, as you've explained earlier and told us about, what's the most fulfilling for you at what you're doing currently?
Uh, I was, I'll tell you an experience I had yesterday.
Hmm.
I am in a transaction of buying a property, and the agents had some complications together and so forth. And they asked me if I could get in and kind of talk to them too. And I got in and I told you exactly what I thought. And I said, hey, you see, this is the problems here. These are the issues here. We've got to solve this thing for this guy. We've got to solve this thing for this guy. He is right, and so is she. They're all right. And we have to do, and then, I didn't give him a solution. I just said, hey, let's realize the reality of this thing. And at the end of the call, the guy's name was Mike. Mike, who was aggressive and very, he says, I like this guy, Sid. He speaks from the heart. Now, that to me is the greatest
Right.
compliment. Because I do. Because I genuinely listen to the cause of both parties. Genuinely. And I genuinely want to solve this thing because, it's not necessarily, but people look at things differently. They look at life as a conflict. I don't look at life as a conflict. Here's the thing. People look at being positive and negative as is the glass half full or half empty. You've heard this before, right? Is the glass half full or half empty? It doesn't matter. The glass is an opportunity to be filled or for the poison to be thrown out. The glass is an opportunity. It's not a preconceived positive and negative. It's okay. Life has negative in it. It has positive in it. But this ideas that we put in our, you have to be positive. No, sometimes you have to be negative about things because that controls the amount of risk that be fearless. Stupid. Why would I be fearless? A lion is approaching me and I'm fearless. That's a stupid thing to do. I got to figure out a way. And if I know that could happen, I can then plan it. I'm navigating risk. That's what an entrepreneur does. An entrepreneur is not fearless, navigates risk. An entrepreneur is not stupidly committed to a cause that is not feasible. Figures out a way to get there in increments. If what we do is worthy, it's an idea worthy to exist in this world, or a problem worthy to be solved, it's not like a switch. Okay, so I'm gonna go from here and here and here and here, until I get there. If I'm saying, oh, either this or that, It's likely that unless you get lucky, and yeah, people sometimes do get lucky.
Words matter. I can say to the
Words,
words
words.
matter. The motto here. If you had an opportunity to sit across the table from C who's just starting out, what kind of
Everybody, a lot of people ask me that question, and this is the answer. Listen more.
listen more?
I would say listen more, listen with your heart, listen without bias, listen to learn, not to reply or react.
How does one
Listen to
listen without bias?
people, listen. That's the awareness part. That's the awareness part. If I am aware that I'll give you another, I'll give you another example. I was driving one day, we were buying a company, and I was on the board of this other company that was acquiring this company. And a couple of days before that, I was looking at some things and I figured that there's something wrong with this other company. Just the diligence isn't right. There's something fishy. Something doesn't make sense. So I had the CEO and the team explore, and yep, there was an issue. So we had to now undo this because this CEO and the company was untrustworthy, and it was just a gimmick. It was, they had lied about different things, and so we were in this argument, and I didn't trust this guy, and I didn't trust that guy, and for a couple of days, for a day. Now I'm driving, and I'm on the board of this other company, and this guy calls me up. The CEO calls me up and says, "Hey, Sid, we've got a situation here. There's this and that and that and that. What do you think?" And at that moment, I said, I'm not gonna answer you. I said, "What?" I said, I can't answer you. I said, "What?" I said, "I'm biased. I've been in this situation. I am biased at this point. I look at life from that lens. And if I give you any advice, it's not going to be a unbiased advice. So let's talk tomorrow." Right? And I'm very proud of having come up with this thing, by the way, having done this. But this is what I call awareness, that I do have a bias, and we all do. But I realize that bias, and sometimes I say, it's okay. It is a bias, that's okay. Here's a bias. You may raise your kid in a certain way because your parents were from Poland and that's how they raised you. That's a bias. Is that the best way of raising a kid? No. But you like your kid to have that bias of being Polish. It's a good thing in your mind. In my mind, from Russia, it may not be a good thing. From you, it may be a good thing. So that's okay. But realize what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not eliminating biases. It's realizing their biases. And
Mm.
based on those realities, then behaving, then planning, then do it.
So your awareness,
Listen,
keyword
listen
awareness.
more, listen
Listen
more.
more, listen more, and be aware. The awareness part is a big part. I
Correct.
mean, it's a big thing to say that you're not going to answer the question now because you're biased.
I was. I mean, to be honest with you, I was very proud of myself. I came home, I said to my wife, I practiced what I preached.
And think about how many arguments would be avoided if people approach many situation, day-to-day situation the same way. I mean, the world would be a peaceful place.
I saw a statistics, 90, if you ask people, are you a good listener? 96% say, I am a good listener. You know what percentage actually listen?
Probably,
4%.
yeah. They should ask their wives what they think about active listening and
So that
attention.
would be a zero number.
Zero. You never listen.
I would say either wives or husbands. Husbands think that the wives don't listen either, and the wives don't think that the husbands would listen
True.
because most of us are trying to reply. We're not listening to learn. We're listening to reply. And if we see the question coming in certain, I would say, oh, there is an angle in this question. I'm just gonna reply it in this way because I don't know what this guy's intentions are.
Yes.
Yeah. So we never learn. We hardly learn. It is only 24% of percentage of time that we actually listen. Within the first 24 hours, we forget half of what we heard, and within the 48 hours, we again lose half of what we've learned. So by the second day, even if we have listened, we have only captured 6% of the conversation that has happened.
Wow. That's a powerful statistic and scary.
Increase it to 12%, and your decisions will be better by 100%.
And I can see its application everywhere. Can be relationship, can be business, can be sales, can be marketing, can be being a parent. I mean, it applies to every aspect of our lives. Be a good
Parents are entrepreneurs. Baseball players are entrepreneurs, musicians are entrepreneurs, business owners are entrepreneurs. We're all trying to exchange what we have with something better, which requires us to make better decisions, realize the choices, and all of that is based on our awareness.
One one quote that comes to mind when during this conversation now, 1 hour into this conversation, I meant, is from Don Vito Corleone when he was in his garden after all that he's got and been going through. He said that life is beautiful, or paraphrasing him, as he was looking at the tomatoes in his garden grow and passing in the arms of his son. Life is beautiful, and because of
Life is beautiful. Life is filled with choices, with things to create. I use an analogy, and sometimes, people are saying, "Oh, I'm old. I don't have much to live, or I don't have much to do, or I'm 50 years old and I'm, wasted my time doing whatever and whatever." So for those in your audience who are mathematically inclined, imagine 2 points. I call it A and B. 2 points. If you connect any 2 points, A and B, with a line, there are infinite lines, points on that line. It's
Mhm.
mathematically proven. There are infinite points on a line that connects any 2 points. Doesn't matter if this is a mile long, doesn't matter if it's a 10 inches long. You're in agreement with this? Is this clear, Matt?
Yeah,
Okay, mathematically, between any 2 points, if you draw a line, there are infinite points on that line. Now, let me say this is A and this is B. Let me introduce the point C and I put it over here. How many points between these two? Still infinite.
still infinite. Yes,
And how many points if I put it in here? Still
infinite.
infinite. So regardless of if I put the point C between A and B anywhere, there are infinite points between any 2 points, right? So now imagine point A is when we're born, point B is when we die, point C is any age. We are 8, we're 18, or we're 80 years old. There are infinite points, instances in front of us to make a choice. Now, they're not the same choices, but we have infinite choices in front of us when we're 80 and where we're 18. Equal number.
That's something worth remembering for us all, because that conversation comes up every day almost. Excuse me.
Equal number. They're not the same choices. This is I want to emphasize. But I can't be a basketball player because if I had yeah, you can't, but you can own a basketball team. How about that? That's a alternative choice.
True. And perhaps you can play basketball. You don't have to be a pro,
Yeah.
but you can throw a ball, and if you can move, and you can still throw a ball in some way, or you can watch basketball if that's your passion. So the options are infinite. I like that. So that's another powerful statement right there. And I just realized we're already 1 hour into the conversation. Feels like
We are indeed. I was looking at it and I have some other engagements to get to,
I know.
but it's been enjoyable to talk to you,
I know
man.
we could talk forever, and I could listen and learn from you forever. It sounds like you have just analogies that are endless from you. My
Infinite analogies, huh?
infinite analogies right there from based on your experience so far. So my final question is, what are you excited about the most in the near future?
I'm excited about the opportunities that the world is offering with AI.
Interesting.
I am excited about the opportunity, but I'm afraid that people may not be ready to embrace the opportunity.
What do you mean by that?
By that, I mean there needs to be a fundamental shift in our mindset. Let me say, I'm afraid I won't see the shift.
I
It
see.
will happen because of the process of evolution. You see, we're in something called the explosion era, which was started 40 years ago. That was when humanity began to change. People started to get math and then all the other stuff that no, we are at an inflection point now because the things that got us here, the things that we thought are elements of efficiency and all of that are no longer valid. The fact that I can design a bridge made me a great engineer. Now, I can only know 6 books or I can do things from 14 different directions that it may take me a year or two to design that bridge or that house or that, whatever you think it is. It may take 10 seconds for 1,000 machines to run across the globe and solve that problem. We're going to be facing a world where a lot of diseases are going to be cured because something that would take 48 years to process with existing capabilities of machines and processing can be done in about 200 seconds with quantum computing. So problems are going to be solved. The things that are making our lives, creating of who we are, our identity of I'm good at math, so I can add this stuff. I'm a good accountant. I'm a good attorney because I remember. I'm a good doctor because I remember. And the minute that you come in, I can say, ah, this is this disease or that disease. But those decisions, those tasks are going to be done by something else better. What that means is, what do we do then? Are we prepared to start evolving in our minds? And that also begins with that awareness thing. That's if we begin to exercise awareness, we can use the information. Would it be great if I read 1,000 books or 500 books? I have so much knowledge. If I had read, and I have this capability now, with all these chat GPT stuff and so forth, and it's evolving every day, it's getting better every day. If I had the information of 100,000 books at my fingertip, shouldn't my decision be better? Wouldn't I be a better person? Can I be more creative, more innovative? So I think we are at an inflection point in human evolution. But I don't think that we are prepared, at least in my lifetime, to take advantage of this massive thing because we're afraid we lose our jobs. We're afraid the media is pushing this. We're using AI to create nonsensical, I have to say, bullshit books that was coaching or steps that have no meaning whatsoever. They say ebooks in 90 seconds. You want to write any ebook? You know nothing about swimming. You can write a book about swimming 90 seconds and put it on Amazon. And guess what? You write it and I write it and 10 other people do the same thing. And in 2 weeks, now these same AI machines are crawling the bullshit ebook that you and I write in 90 seconds and reference it as something that is valuable. So garbage comes out of garbage because we're doing this to ourselves.
Filtering through the right information is going to be a challenge for sure.
Because it's our greed. We say, oh, we could do this, and people are going to be greedy and they're going to put it on there. And we don't care about how we're diluting the entire knowledge base by regurgitating this nonsense. We don't care because entrepreneurship definitions have been diluted, contaminated around greed and not value creation.
And knowing our history, we're very easy to be persuaded and believe in something that often is not truth. And we didn't worship it even, like as you said it correct, like we worship something that isn't truth without verifying it, without listening to the other party, which again, the art of listening is something powerful. And that's how things might take a wrong turn. Hopefully we'll find our own way of being an entrepreneur and our own definition of it and continue to evolve and evolve again.
So people ask me, well, I mean, I'm a lot of radio programs and TV programs and podcasts and so forth. And people sometimes ask me, well, what do you have to promote? And I say, well, I like to promote for other people to be provoked. Because if they get better, and if I get better, if my neighbor gets better, if their child gets better, if their friends get better, if my friend gets better, guess what? We're going to live in a wonderful life.
Yes.
We're going to be in an amazing thing. And if I can help with the academy or anything else or these podcasts or whatever, provoke people to say, hey, wake up. You've got choices. You are an entrepreneur. You're capable. Don't measure yourself against the success of these nonsensical things. Life is not like IKEA. Let's go. Let's build. Let's be grateful. Let's create great arts and let's change it again and again.
I love that.
That's why I do that.
With these words, hopefully your listener will be provoked and with what we just heard. Thank you so much.
If we get to one, I have been rewarded sufficient.
And I'm sure we will do. Thank you so much for being an honored guest. It's been an honor to host you, and I look forward to our future conversations because I have a feeling there will be a few more coming up. So I look forward to that, and I wish all the best for all the students and the visitors to the Anabasis Academy. We'll make sure we leave the information.
Yeah, and by the way, they could be sponsored, so somebody else in the academy pay it forward can get them in. They can go to the site and come to one of these wake up calls. If you like it, then you can engage and be sponsored at least for a trial period of a few months to see if this moves you. And if it does, we'll be happy to have you as a learning partner because I'm learning all the time too. It's not just me teaching, it's me learning.
Constant and never ending improvement.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohasseb.
It's been a pleasure.